Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are, whoever you are. Welcome once again to Nerd Week Live. Oh my gosh, what did I just do to my screen here? I'm bouncing stuff all over the place and I can't see us. Brought to you by us, the folks at Nerd Caliber. This is our weekly nerd news show, and now I've just really screwed myself up. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Double monitors. Sometimes they just don't work right. And I'm hearing my voice on somebody.
Sorry, my bad. Forgot to mute YouTube.
All right. Please do mute me. Anyway, we are the folks from Nerd Caliber. I am Rodney Brown, the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, first-person shooter on the internets, Burley_adopter on the Twitters, and things like that. We've got quite a roster with us tonight. Yay, this is a party. So, party people, let's see. Let's start by going to me clockwise, and that would be my non-bearded or semi-bearded bald brother. Introduce yourself, Byron, if you would.
Hi, guys. Byron McNeil, a.k.a. Byron D0, artist, contributing writer, videographer, and hero of social justice.
Or social media.
Yes, social media, definitely. I'm always happy to be here. Got a bunch of awesome projects on the way here and there. Getting ready to post a new episode of my podcast, the Weep Trash Can podcast, online. Coming up with a little bit of merch for my art soon. Told the guys here about it. I'll share it with you when it's ready.
Cool. And they'll be able to see that where?
You'll be able to see the merch at go to storeenvy.com and look for Byron D0.
Awesome. And in my same clockwise rotation, next would be the amazing Gogo.
Hello, I'm Gogo Incognito. I am a long-time Nerd Caliber correspondent, video hostess, all that good stuff. And usually when there is Dragon Con and New York Comic Con, you see a lot of me up on the Nerd Caliber page. I am trying to keep myself super duper busy, and I show you parts of my real life and some boobs on my Instagram. If you want to see the nitty gritty, make sure you tune into my stories. If you want to see pretty pictures, well, that spread is always being updated. And you can find me at gogo_incognito. I'm easy to remember because I rhyme. So really, if you just want to find me wherever, watch my YouTubes, any of that, just go to Google or your preferred search thing and type in Gogo Incognito.
Awesome. Keeping around the clock, Ashley, if you would.
Absolutely. Hi, Ashley Lauren Rogers. I'm a playwright based out of Brooklyn, New York. I'm also a contributor on Nerd Caliber. It's been a little while since I've contributed, so I really need to up my game again. But yeah, so I'm really excited to be back on the show. And yeah, if you want to check out my stuff, ashleylaurenrogers.com, or if you want to check out my podcast, Is It Transphobic, you can check out isitTransphobic.com.
Ashley, no worries. Those people who do most of their contributions through cons, meh. So, what are you going to do?
It's been a year where we just can't do that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And stay tuned for the final topic, folks. Boy, do we get into that. And my bald-bearded brother from a Jewish mother, I'm just an assumption on my part. I didn't. Are both of your parents Jewish? I don't know that. I don't know that we need to know that. Anyway, if you would introduce yourself.
Was that like casual weird racism, Rodney?
Apparently casual. No, bigotry.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you're the least bigoted, anti-Semitic, racist person I personally think I know, so we'll cut you some slack this once.
All right. I appreciate it.
Hi, everybody. Greg Snyder, a.k.a. Wonder Llama. I can't really say cosplay at the moment, but Wonder Llama photography.
Well,
I've been doing a lot of fun stuff where we can with very small groups of people at our new studio just south of Boston. If you're interested in looking at some interesting stuff, Red Raven Studios on Facebook, on Instagram. We're all terrible about Twitter, so don't bother with that one. But yeah, we've done some fun stuff. Just shot. Anybody that caught the couple things we posted so far did what was supposed to be a Not Your Little Mermaid shoot, as it were, with a friend of ours who does a lot of mermaid stuff. Turned into a very dark mermaid gets proposed to by the sailor, and things happen.
Oh my god!
I did it, and just to make sure that we're clear here, it was a legit proposal.
Yes.
It was.
Yes,
It
that
was
was
indeed.
So that's their engagement photos, folks.
Yeah, thinking about it.
Those were actually. I did not know until we'd already planned it, but I did not know until we got there, when I got the
Tentacles?
from our friendly mermaid. No, the look at my ring finger.
Oh, okay.
Which was suddenly adorned with a ring.
Sorry,
they
too much
got
hentai.
engaged a couple of days earlier, but they wanted to do engagement photos as opposed to just our original concept. So that's the kind of fun, crazy, wild stuff we do around Red Raven Studios these days. And when you've got a block and tackle and you can slap together a sailboat, you use it.
Exactly.
There we go.
Greg, I've been absolutely loving the photos that you've been doing.
Thank you.
So I think that it still counts as cosplay, whether you are in front of the lens or behind or both. So where would people see like all this amazing stuff that you've created?
As I said, on Facebook, Red Raven Studios, MA for Mass. On Instagram, red_raven_studios.
Cool beans.
Fortunately, we couldn't get the same one across the board, but what are you going to do? So,
That's one of the advantages of misspelling the name of your company, is that we have Nerd Caliber everywhere, exactly the same.
much.
So, folks here in the chats, Emerald Pony, welcome to the show. Yvette Simone's Cruz, welcome. Sweet Macaroni, oh my God, Bakugo on clickbait. Well, actually not really clickbait. It's a photo that was taken at Katsucon, so it's appropriate to our final topic. Harry Brady, welcome back to the show. Trinity Cleveland, hey-o. Taylor Cosplay, welcome to the show. Ken Makozu, hi, welcome to the show. Haley Plays, welcome to the show. And happy birthday. I would sing in the world, so happy birthday. There we go.
Happy birthday!
And let's see, do we have anybody twitching? Nobody twitching yet, and nobody yet on the Facebooks. So keep those comments coming, and we're going to jump right into it because we got a lot of people and a fairly decent-sized roster of topics. Topic number one, that is, of course, Vision. That is from the series WandaVision. We were really hoping this was going to drop as they hinted in December and January 15th. They made the announcement very end of last week. January 15th is when we're going to finally get to see it. But at least we know we're going to finally get to see it. So, yay?
Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so because you really wanted it earlier, or you guess so because you're not there? Well, me too. Me too.
I mean, I've wanted this for a while. Like, I actually really thought that they were going to do Falcon and Winter Soldier first. I really thought that was going to be like the first.
So the plan was and because of the shutdowns of shooting because of COVID in Prague, and then a further shutdown because of somebody actually testing positive, once they restarted, they had to put that off. So it's now no longer the first one.
See, I'm okay with this then, especially if they have a lot of timelines that they need to figure out, if they have a lot of things that they need to do, whether it's create reshoots. Like, I'd rather that they give us a good product and they put it off for a month.
Yeah.
As much as I really want to see this, as much as I am very excited about it, and really, I hate to, hate to be that person, but I am just excited for another female-forward show prior to Black Widow coming out, because I'm not going to go see Black Widow because I have issues with Scarlett Johansson. So the more media that comes out around the Marvel Universe that has women front and center that I can consume, so that it doesn't look like to people like, oh, you're just not watching the women. It's like, no, I'm avoiding ScarJo.
That's understandable. Everybody has reasons for liking or disliking particular properties or wanting to support them, I guess, is the better way to put that. I'm really, really looking forward to this because I don't know if this is true, but it seems like something about what they've done in this show is potentially causing the reshoots that are going on right now with Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's a pure speculation. They are doing reshoots. Whether or not they've suddenly settled in and went, ooh, House of M meets Kang meets, Thunderbolts. Who knows? But they are definitely, I would guess, doing some reshoots to maybe to fix some problems, but maybe to move things a little bit closer to what they now have as a clear Phase 4, Phase 5. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see how they handle the implications of the sort of House of M, Wanda Maximoff being the most powerful, potentially the most powerful mutant in existence. In the comics anyway, she literally has the ability to do what it took Thanos, 6 gems, 6 gems and a gauntlet to do. Literally alter all of reality, just by saying something.
And before anyone tries to say she's not a mutant, they can easily retcon that by saying that she had the X gene at some point.
Yeah, they have to bring mutants in somehow. Not having Wanda Maximoff as a mutant ultimately would change enough of the potential storylines that it's probably not a thing. It also gives them a way to bring it in. So
let me ask this because I'm curious and I genuinely don't know the answer here. Does anybody know, is the show itself going to look like the trailer, or is the trailer just the trailer shot the way it is, mimicking, if you will, sort of the Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy style?
So from what I understand, the show is going to look like the trailer because if you've seen the trailer, if you remember, there's a scene where Monica Rambeau gets sort of tossed out of what appears to be a force field and lands in a field next to a bunch of, you could assume they're FBI or S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. It turns out they're SWORD, which is a completely another group that they're going to be introducing in this. So that thing that she got thrown out of is apparently wherever this alternate reality, pocket dimension, whatever you want to call it in the MCU, of Wanda Maximoff's perfect suburban world exists.
Okay.
And apparently as things change, my guess would be, I don't know if this is the incentive, but the look changes based on something forcing the change. So like in the sit down, the dinner scene where they start really pestering her about where are you from, where are you from, where are you from, might be the trigger that suddenly changes it going from the 50s to the 60s.
A lot of mental health correlations in that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be really, really interesting to see, and I hope that they do it adeptly and not with just kind of like movie flash and, sizzle, but actually sort of really go with that.
That's going to be a tough one because the gist of what they are doing with this is that somebody is mentally broken, let's put it that way, to the point, but they have the power to create a universe where, or at least a space where they're safe and happy.
Right.
It's going to be really tough to try to present proper ways of dealing with mental issues when the person that has the mental issues can deal with them by literally changing reality.
Oh no, I totally get what you're saying. This is just me talking also as a nerd, but also as a former social worker who actually did have clinical patients who had dissociative disorder. So I'm actually not going to continue going in the social work direction because that could derail us. But the more you describe this, Rodney, I'm like, okay, I got it. Except when she dissociates, she's not going inside her head; she's creating a whole other world.
Yes.
So I mean, that's
reality.
that, but.
And it really does exist. As you in the trailer, you see somebody from not inside that reality getting tossed out of it. Waifu Pennywise, welcome back to the show. So yeah, January 15th. I can't wait. It's 5 days before the return of our country. And by the way, if anybody on the chat or anything is surprised at us saying political stuff, boy, have you not been watching.
We bleed blue.
Yes. Anyway, even though my neck is thoroughly red. You can't have grown up in Maine and look like I do and not be called a redneck. Moving on to our next topic. That is, of course, the amazing David Tennant. I don't believe this is actually from the property that we're talking about, but that property is completely a surprise to me. Apparently, his production of a BBC series of Around the World in 80 Days was halted because of COVID-19. I didn't know they were making one. I think the reason I didn't know is that it currently apparently does not have an American distributor, and that makes me cry.
That's tragic.
Did anybody know this thing was happening?
I didn't, even though we've got the various BBC things because there's stuff we wanted to watch on it. Oh, I remember. It was Drag Race UK. You had to get a certain thing. There's definitely, I think you can, if you've got a smart TV, I believe you can subscribe just like anything else.
BritBox, right?
Yeah, and get the streaming. But no, I didn't know either, and it's great. And it's being co-produced by Masterpiece, which means the costumes, the direction, it's going to be lavish. They're going to put money into it.
Absolutely.
It's going to be up there, in quality, at least, of the look and all the finery. And looking at the other actors that are and actresses and whatnot that are going to be a part of this, it looks like pretty stellar talent. So I will be making sure that I still can get into BBC One.
Yeah. Or wherever it lands. So Masterpiece is a U.S. production partner. Paiu Communications in South Africa, Bay Films and RTBF in Belgium, and apparently they've got distribution deals in most of those places, but they haven't announced one in the U.S., even though there's a U.S. production partner. So you
think then it will definitely find a home in the U.S.?
It will.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Anything that this is, Gogo, as you alluded to, this is going to be seemingly a fairly high-budget production, or I would assume it'll look like one, even if it doesn't have a massive dollar budget. There's some fairly high-profile people attached to it. No one's going to skip the U.S. market for something like this. We're too big.
And Tennant's huge everywhere, including
too well beloved
Yeah.
throughout the vast majority of American nerddom.
Exactly.
Yeah. So BBC America, or maybe they'll make a deal with one of the streamers.
Yeah.
It'll
wind up on Netflix or one of them. I would think.
So
I'm excited. This looks cool. It's a great story. Haven't seen it done. Geez, I think the last adaptation was. Didn't Jackie Chan make a version of
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, he did.
Where he played Passepartout.
Jackie Chan.
It was Steve Coogan played Fogg, and he played Passepartout.
Yeah, that's true. Steve Coogan's a little bit drier than Jackie Chan. The sense of humor, anyway. Yeah, so
I feel like David Tennant will. I feel like David Tennant will put a lot of the 10th Doctor's energy into his performance too.
I am missing that energy. He's still my doctor.
Because Phileas Fogg's character is essentially the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
depending on which Doctor. Yeah, that makes sense. As long as he doesn't put Bartleby Crouch energy into it, or Kilgrave.
Oh God, I had to stop watching because it was so creepy, and it was a major trigger for me. But did I really want to get into that? And nope.
We obviously won't dive into this now, but we did. I think right around the end of the first season, when we were sort of past spoiler territory, we wound up doing basically an entire show about how brilliant and awful and triggering and truly evil Kilgrave was in that series. in no small part, I mean, obviously the writing, but in no small part because of Tennant.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he was Bendis. They wrote an amazing character in the comic, and then Tennant just brought that creepiness right to life. Like, ugh. But Fog is not, unless they're going for a really weird take in this 8-part adaptation, I don't think he's going to be that creepy.
And that's a cool bit too. I like that it's going to be an 8-part. I don't know whether they'll do it week to week or whether it'll be a binge sort of thing. But it's great that it's going to be, they'll give it a little bit of space to breathe. They'll probably make up a couple of little stops along the way that Wells didn't have. But hopefully sometime in the near future we'll be talking about maybe we'll do a full fat spoiler chat on this.
It's a good idea. Maybe, and luckily, since apparently it's all being filmed in Romania and South Africa, they can make those two places look like anywhere in the world. So,
basically,
yeah. So, this does not have a release date, even in any of the markets that they mention here in this article.
You just said that refilming has begun or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that will take over a 5-month period. So you're looking at this thing not being shot or finished shooting until the middle of 2021. So, or end of first quarter anyway. So maybe end of 2021. Fingers crossed.
Unlike the movie Tennant, which is out in theaters.
And apparently, and apparently Christopher Nolan is now completely okay with going to non-theater distribution.
Oh, really?
After his movie doesn't make much money. Surprise, surprise. So, anyway, that's not our next topic. That would also be a good full fat spoiler chat. Christopher Tennant, what the hell? What is our next topic is this. That is Johnny Five from Short Circuit. And the news is that there's going to be a reboot, but this is very specific. They make it clear that this is going to have a Latinx twist on the screenplay because it's going to be written by Eduardo Cisneros and Jason Schumann for Project X Entertainment and Spyglass Media Group. I'm okay with that. If you're just going to do a straight up, let's reboot it, with a bunch of white people again, Ali Sheedy and what the hell's his name? Parker
Gutenberg.
Steve Gutenberg.
Steve Gutenberg.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about
Fisher
Steve
Stevens.
Gutenberg.
Yep.
He was
Fisher Stevens.
He was
That's
like a
one.
thing for a while.
His star burned bright and burned fast.
Sputtered.
Academy and all that stuff.
Please, no brown face this time.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I forgot all about that. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would do that. And honestly, bringing Latin humor to this, I think, would be hilarious. I love the subtle, accurate, and respectful way they put Latin humor into the Ant-Man movies.
Yes.
Pena's character, oh God, is hilarious.
I will watch anything he's in, even if I have to fast forward, just to see. It's Michael Pena, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I grew up with someone named Richard Pena, and sometimes I'm like, which one is it? Right, no, I will, if Michael Pena's in something, or if he's voice acting something, and it's terrible, I'll just fast forward and be like, is that him? just to catch his parts. So I agree with you completely, Rodney. I think I only saw Short Circuit once, and I was a wee babe for that.
Who is Johnny?
Totally don't really remember any of it, except that there was race face, and it was bad.
Yep.
It was bad, and the robot was cute.
Yep.
That was cute.
I have fonder memories of part 2, actually. Because I actually saw that in theaters.
That was the one where he went to New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen them both. Like, I've seen the first one more than the second one. I absolutely love it. I'm so curious to see what they do with it. Just that idea of the military-grade robot that is then loses memory and becomes just this quirky, like, oh, what do I do? No, disassemble. Like,
No disassemble.
I am so here for whatever.
Hello, buzzer.
Yeah, but
they
that, I
wanna do
mean,
with it. Like, yes, just
they basically remade that as Chappie too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they did.
that's the other thing. Like, I'm curious how it's going to work because there have been a lot of derivative works, a lot of works inspired by it, and a lot of works like, okay, well, how are you now going to do this and step it up again? Because, like, there have been a lot of works that have already been inspired by you. So what? So
I think one thing they're going to need is a banging soundtrack, like in the original.
Yeah, so for making the Chappie comparison, who would be the Latinx version of the Antwoord? I don't know if there is one. I don't know if there could be
No.
one.
Oscar Isaac's dance card is probably pretty full these days.
I
That is
can think of a few. Maybe get Lin-Manuel Miranda involved.
true. But yeah, so here's the weird thing. This already has a release date. According to this thing, it is set for release by Paramount and Spyglass on January 14th, 2022. So almost a year after WandaVision.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is it's probably, I mean, it's probably good thinking, rather than having to push it back again and again and again and again. So yeah, I guess we'll revisit later.
Well, but they just got the writers starting writing. It's super early in production, so that makes sense having it a 2022 date.
Pragmatic.
The thing I would personally love that was so charming about this movie at the time is that it was not all, but virtually all practical effects.
Yep.
It was a real, robot of sorts. But obviously, robot technology has come a long way since then. It would be unfortunate, I think, if this was all CG. I personally wouldn't care for it that much because that was really what made this so cute and so charming, was that there was a real personality and a real sort of tangible robotness. I don't know if that's a word, but anyway, so I'm hoping. I've actually seen at a couple of bigger conventions, I want to say at New York, someone who's a robot maker has a remote control Johnny 5.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
That I've seen tooling around. Maybe we'll see Johnny 6.
Nice. And who knows? Yeah, you're right.
For me,
Go ahead.
biggest fear for me is that they basically do what they did with the Pacific Rim, whereas they turn it into a marketing franchise. Like, they take away the heart of the original narrative, which is eventually, can a robot become more than what is programming?
Yeah, that's a fear. I don't see why that would happen.
Never underestimate corporate America.
Well, true.
Short circuit connected universe. That's right. Samuel L. Jackson's gonna come in. Say, have you heard about the
sign
short
me
circuit
up.
initiative?
I'm tired of these mother robots.
Who's going with me to get a full back tattoo of that franchise?
Okay. On that note,
Moving on.
well, you'd have to move something else around there, wouldn't you, Greg? Though, or
I would just do it right over the Balrog.
Okay. No, please, no.
Not over the Balrog.
Never over the Balrog.
Oh, disassemble Balrog.
They don't like. All right, I was going to make a joke, but that wins. So moving on. So this is kind of an amazing bit of news for both the fact that it's the first spin-off coming off of Black Lightning, the CW show, and for who's making it. So this is Jordan Calloway as Khalil Payne, that's the character's name, who goes by the name Painkiller, a reformed bad guy in the series and in the comics. He was a member of Tobias Whale's gang. He was one of the secret weapons used by the secret U.S. government agency, ASA. The story is that he's decided doesn't want to do that anymore, retires, but then, of course, gets brought back into it, and he has to try to figure out how to do this without being a killer. And I like that idea. I think it's a great spinoff. I think it's wonderful to see that spinoff. I kind of wish they had spun off his daughters into their own series, but it's being made by Warner Brothers Television, or Warner Brothers Television Productions, whatever they call it, not by Berlanti. So Greg Berlanti and Berlanti Productions does everything DC related on the CW. Everything comic related. Riverdale, Katie Keene, but all the CW stuff, all the DC stuff on HBO not HBO Max, on HBO Max. So he is the producer of Doom Patrol. And he's not, Berlanti Productions is not producing this one, even though it's coming from a Berlanti production show. And I don't know why that is. Whether he's just got so much on his plate. Next topic as well.
Might be trying to take it in a different direction from Berlanti's vision.
Maybe. But then again, that's true. Or the way it was presented in the show. Because it seems like it's pretty consistent to the character from the comics. So,
yeah, like I was going to offer something similar. That idea that it might just be a different tone, it might be a different vibe. It might be just that Berlanti and Co. are just like doing too many things because they have a lot of properties.
I can absolutely relate to that. And we were talking about that pre-show.
All those spinning plates, go!
Yeah.
All those spinning plates.
I agree with Rodney. This is the thing. Is like Black Lightning, cool beans, character of color, awesome. Another show focusing on another dude. It's got to be, it's got to be someone I really, really like at this point for me to, care enough to really invest in it. And then it's got to keep my attention.
Yeah.
Like I lost it with the CW Flash. I also lost it with the CW Supergirl. Maybe it's...
Really? You lost with the Flash?
I did.
Yeah, I jump in and out of the Flash, too. It's...
Yeah. I can see that.
It may be the tone of CW shows. So, again, if this is a CW show, I don't know if it's going to be for me. But, man, I would have really liked to have had another, femme-led show.
Well, on that note...
yes, moving on. Yes.
Before I do that segue, I'm going to interrupt my segue. X Sunflower X, welcome to the show. And now we're going to get on to that segue. Speaking of Berlanti Productions, superheroes, female-led shows, that is the artist and creator's design for the character that's going to be the upcoming Wonder Girl in the planned Wonder Girl series on CW. And it is 100% based on the character that will be Wonder Woman in the... I want to get these... What they call this thing. They call the whole series Future State, but it's like Future State Wonder Woman, I guess.
Yes.
That will be coming up, which is sort of a time jump series in DC Comics where all of your favorite and, the most popular superheroes are actually different people. This is Yara Flor. She is from Brazil, and she is in Future State Wonder Woman. So in this CW production, she will be Wonder Girl. Latina Dreamer, who was born of an Amazonian warrior and a Brazilian river god. Oof, that's got some power.
Sexy. Oh, I like it.
The character design is gorgeous. Joelle Jones. The artist and creator who created the character. It's being written by Dalen Rodriguez, so Latinx woman, and it is, of course, a Berlanti Productions. So I love this idea.
I'm totally into it, especially with what you just said, Rodney, about her, her parentage. I mean, that sounds great. One note, and I don't know if this is how it will be officially pronounced, but Yara is very often Jara, the name.
Okay, so the Y is pronounced like a J?
Mhm.
Okay.
Vice versa.
Greg, you kind of speak Portuguese. I have no idea, so, sadly I'm doing it in the English style, so
and
my
you know
apologies,
what?
folks.
That is for. I mean, that is how I've always heard the name Jara pronounced, but it might be different in Portuguese versus Spanish.
I believe
Portuguese is limited to a handful of useful statements and ordering cocktails.
So
Speaking
part
of useful
statements.
Yeah,
Extremely
exactly.
useful.
Rodney and I, we got the
You're
same.
good. I get it.
Yeah.
So in case anybody was wondering about the previous topic and this topic about Berlanti, so CW, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, the upcoming Superman and Lois, now the upcoming Wonder Girl, Riverdale, Katie Keene, Arrow is done. Batwoman.
Right.
So moving on to other things, HBO Max, Doom Patrol, Stargirl, which moved over from CW, or is going the other way, is moving over from DC Universe to HBO Max. Superman and Lois.
Supergirl's removed.
Supergirl still has one more season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Powerpuff Girls in development. Booster Gold in
Really?
development. Yes. Live action Powerpuff Girls. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
It's got to be better than the 2016 animation.
Probably. Booster Gold series in development. The currently unnamed Green Lantern series, whether it's Green Lantern or Core or whatever. And Kung Fu.
Really?
Yeah, he's producing the reboot of Kung Fu.
Oh, that's right.
Dang.
So 19 series in production or actually airing.
Talk about spreading yourself thin.
Oh, yeah.
So if that's the reason why he's not involved in doing Painkiller, who can blame him?
Yeah.
But I hope this is better than Supergirl. As good as the best of Flash and Arrow. And let's see, what other is this stuff? God, it would be great if it was up there with the second season of Doom Patrol.
Hopefully better than Batwoman too.
Yeah, I kind of didn't want to say that because I really, really want to support everything about Batwoman, but
I mean, I do
that
too.
writing
but
was so lame.
We'll see where the new season and the new Batwoman take it, because that was my thing with Supergirl. Was season 1 you just kind of had to get through it, and then once season 2 and season 3 hit, I was really behind it. Everything else is back and forth on, but at least those 2 seasons, sometimes it just takes a little while to get it moving. So we'll see what the new season of Batwoman. We'll see what the new Batwoman really works as.
What was the season that had the non Clark Kent, the guy from the Krypton's sort of enemy planet?
Oh, I know what you're.
that was season 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was 2.
That was my favorite season, except it didn't pay off. The end was the finale of that, and what they did with that character, not good.
Planet Daxam, right?
Yes. Yep. And the red uniform. God, what's the character's name? Anyway. So yeah, we don't know when this is going to hit CW, but hopefully it will be sooner rather than later. We don't know who is going to be playing Ms. Floor, so I don't screw up the first name.
And again, I don't know. It's just that is how I have heard it pronounced in the past. So I just wanted, and also
sorry.
Yeah, and also in years and years of Spanish classes and whatnot. So I'm just throwing it out there, but.
Cool. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next topic. Yakimaru, welcome to the show, and hello LGBTQ community.
Nice.
You had the
name.
word community after it, and it just completely screwed me up.
Both of them are nice, but especially Hyakimaru.
Yes. And moving on to our next topic. Nope, that's our current topic. Let's get into the correct. There we go. That is Bumblebee from the Transformers. And the news is about the Transformers sort of retooling of the franchise. Sans Michael Bay in the director's chair has picked its director for its next movie.
Can I get an amen up in here?
Yes.
Couldn't happen to a nicer asshole.
And the person they picked is Stephen Caple Jr., who directed Creed 2, a black director. So I think it's pretty safe that one thing we will never see are those racial stereotype little Transformer mini cars. Ugh.
Or Jazz saying "suck."
Yes.
Still mad about that.
Yeah, there's so many things to be mad about that whole series, but thank God they're putting it in the hands of, a director of color, of somebody whose only real major feature film is a sports drama featuring a African American or black lead. Get the Bay stink off of this franchise, please.
Yeah, like because I was here for Bumblebee. Bumblebee was great. I thought that was probably
So good. Yeah.
Transformers movie. It was like, oh, this is what it can be when it's not just a mess of metal ideas moving in front of the screen.
Yeah.
And I was here for it. So yes, get more directors, get more interesting ideas. I'm here for it. Especially, he has proven that he can do a franchise film, a film within a franchise, a film that already has names on it. So yeah, I'm here for this.
Yeah,
It'd be interesting to see if that change carries over, because Bumblebee in large part was because it was Travis Knight, who's absolutely fantastic. As a huge fan of Leica films, I was excited to see that. But I mean, even if it's not great, it's got to be better than anything Michael Bay has done with the series.
Absolutely.
I would love,
with faint praise.
love for this to be awesome, to like just get excited about a Transformers movie again, because I mean, if you don't love the Transformers, that's fine, that's your life choice, but you might want to question it.
Amen.
Seriously, like I would love to have a big old real Transformers blockbuster to look forward to. Like, how fun and awesome.
About the robots.
Yeah.
Yes, not about Shia LaBeouf. Mysterious Wolf, welcome to the show. You are late-ish. We've only got 3 more topics to go, but in time for the big one at the end.
There's really only one truly critical question about this new Transformers movies. Will there be lots of explosions?
Explosions!
Explosion porn.
It's like, oh my god, I don't know how to end this dialogue scene. Somebody blows up.
Explosion!
Literally, that's the way. It's like, I don't know how to end this dialogue scene. Boom, everybody gets knocked over by a bomb.
As long as we don't see Devastator's scrotum ever again.
Or Bumblebee peeing on John Turturro, or,
Or more than one comic relief character in one film.
I honestly, if this has the same amount of money, and Hasbro is 100% behind this, so it probably does, I really hope they get those level of actors doing something that isn't as horrifically cringeworthy as Stanley Tucci and John Turturro and all of these other amazing actors that were in this franchise of garbage.
Was
Malkovich.
Anthony Hopkins in one too?
Yes, it was.
No.
The last one.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one that I reviewed.
I'm embarrassed. It's like, when you get like contact embarrassed, where you're like, oh.
I'm embarrassed for you.
Yes,
I mean, everyone, I don't care who you are or what your acting CV looks like, everyone makes movies for the paycheck. But that one seems to hurt a little more than some.
Yep. Yep, sir.
I reviewed
Anthony
one
Hopkins.
for them.
Look, it's not on the plate tonight because it doesn't really apply here, but there was some news in which they used a picture from The Lion in Winter, the wonderful movie in which Sir Anthony Hopkins, way before he was a sir, played Richard the Lionheart.
Yep. That was his breakout role.
And he's wonderful.
I mean, Orson Welles was the voice of, I can't remember the name, but main
Unicron.
antagonist.
Yes.
Unicron, yeah.
Oh, and one of the last things Leonard Nimoy ever did. Oh my God, that makes me want to cry.
Prime.
Transformers as a franchise has a history of getting big name actors to show up for a paycheck. Okay?
Yep.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because for the paycheck.
Yep.
Because you ain't showing up for anything else. All right. Speaking of somebody who apparently is not showing up for the paycheck, and I love that about this. That's Fade to Black. That's Fade to the Image. That is, of course, Sylvester Stallone. That's from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But the news that came out is that he has a role, undefined whether it's a cameo, expanded, or whatever, in the upcoming James Gunn film, The Suicide Squad, which we mentioned earlier. I have no idea what it is. I think on-set photo that James Gunn tweeted out, and it's too small in the wrong format to go up here, unfortunately, shows him, Stallone with Gunn, in a set that looks like a bar, and he's wearing absolutely a black and red check lumberjack shirt. So who the character is, what role, what connection to the Suicide Squad, maybe it's a Stan Lee. Yeah, he's the bartender, and that's it. I doubt it, because in that image that we had before, that was his character from Guardians, and that was a character with a number of speaking roles that, while not important to the movie,
it was important to the lore.
It was important to the lore, and it was important to the emotional tone of the movie. It was Yondu's former Ravagers that really set off the funeral at the end. And spoiler alert for a movie that's now 5 years old.
Wow, really 5?
I don't know. I'm just guessing, because I always guess wrong and too early. So I'll say, it's 2 years old. No, it's way longer.
Might be
than
like
that.
4.
Yeah. So I'm thinking he might be a character. I speculated on nerdcaliber.com of what I think he is, or what I really like him to be, and that is Peacemaker's deceased father, who apparently haunts Peacemaker, telling him he's never good enough no matter what he does. And in the comics, because Peacemaker comes from the 60s, his dad was actually a Nazi concentration camp commandant. And I would love to see them update that and have that as Stallone's role. The lumberjack shirt kind of doesn't indicate that's going to be the case, but...
I mean, he might just be wearing a shirt.
Well, I mean, if there's one thing I've learned from James Gunn in recent years is that he doesn't waste talent.
True. This is true.
And Sylvester Stallone, when he's on when it comes to comedy and he's on, it's and
yeah, it's not all stop or my mother will shoot.
Yeah.
God, wasn't he in like a slapstick, like a 30s gangster comedy?
Oscar.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hilarious movie.
Yep.
I think I watched that after a couple of gummies a few years ago.
I still think one of my guilty pleasures of all time is Tango and Cash.
I love that movie.
Oh my God! How many times have I watched that with what was his name? Jack Palance or something?
Yeah, Jack Palance as
yeah.
Who, ironically enough, he was my pick for Magneto back in the day.
Yeah.
Huh.
If you needed Magneto to do push-ups, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he will look great in that red and purple costume. But we're getting off topic.
Scenery, extra Chewy style, and
yes,
I'm not sure if that would have been a different direction for Magneto rather than like suave and all that, charming, etc. Having Jack Palance with a bar.
Yes.
kind of,
That would have been marvelous. Valengamer Franco, welcome to the show. I don't speak much English, but I do know enough. That sentence is perfect English, so you're good so far.
The show.
All right.
Curiosity. Peacemaker. That's the one that's being portrayed by John Cena.
Yes, that's John Cena's character. And
that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited for John Cena and Sylvester Stallone. If your prediction is
But
correct,
he'll be invisible on screen.
Yeah, I mean, we won't be able to see him.
Right.
But
yes. Oh my God! And of course, Cena is. They've already announced the Peacemaker series with John Cena that we talked about again a few weeks ago. That's a spinoff. Before Suicide Squad even hits theaters, they've already started working on pre-production of his TV series. So I can't wait for that.
That would be fantastic.
So here for it. Yeah.
Yep. Me too. You know what? I know that somewhere, because we've talked about this many times, about when the current release of Suicide Squad is. And in fact, I even had it in my article. August 6th, 2021. There we go. So next summer, maybe. Well, let's just say next summer you'll be able to see Suicide Squad, hopefully in a theater, or maybe on HBO Max. Because they're not going to delay it again, I'm sure. Speaking of, so this one is kind of, a new trailer dropped, for the Snyder Cut of Justice League. And it dropped in two fashions, color, and the primary one they first put out that I thought everybody was going to jump on was black and white. And it's essentially the previous trailer, except they did add some new scenes with Superman and with Cyborg. It doesn't really give you anything more about the tone that they're going with. It's still pretty Zack Snyder-ish. But I do like it. The more I see of this, the more I'm looking forward to seeing what his vision of this was, or now is, I guess you should say, because clearly he's filming new scenes, so he's making some changes in his head. Hadassah Kjørstad, oh hi, welcome. So if you've seen it, if you guys took a look at it, anything about this new trailer sort of jump at you? That's a no. All right.
I'm going to go on the record and say I don't really care.
To claw my eyes out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm far from the biggest Zack Snyder fan to begin with, so I'm just like, eh.
The only thing that I will say is I really am pulling for it to do well because people push for it, people wanted it, people made it, and now Zack Snyder has hindsight. Zack Snyder has the ability to see this is what the reaction was to the original movie. This is what everything was. So
and also Batman, Superman.
Yeah, like I want it to be good because I want this experiment to work, and because there are a lot of people that really have put in a lot of emotional work into this. So I'm hoping it's good, but honestly, I just don't care.
That seems to be the general consensus.
Perfectly. I will watch it again. There are actors in it that I like. There are characters in it that I like. I would love to see if it could be improved. I'm just not holding my breath.
Yeah.
Again, general consensus.
There's just not enough Xanax and phenobarb out there to make me watch that.
I can see that. But it's got to be more interesting, exciting, and make more sense than Whedon's. I look back at my original review of Justice League when it first came out, and boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Boy, did I give it way too much credit.
Honestly, I did too.
Yeah, because I think at the moment it was super exciting, and it was so much not Batman v Superman that I just completely forgave all of the stuff that in hindsight was just as awful, just a different kind of awful. So I am looking forward to it. I do kind of want to see where, and I agree, Ashley, I really would like to see Zack Snyder show that he's learned something about movie making.
He's learned that if you slow down CGI scenes 2 more frames per second, they're awesome.
Yeah, okay, the trailer, boy, does it rely on Snyderisms, particularly slow-mo, and, Hallelujah. Come on, find another song, dude.
That hurts me deeply. That I think, as pretentious and Snydery as the whole thing was. I mean, the entire sequence is in high contrast black and white, so it looks arty, I guess. I don't know. But having the original Cohen version of that song as the background music to the soundtrack, it was just, oh God, a knife in the chest.
Yeah. Come on. It's an exciting, it should be an exciting superhero movie. Come up with something more exciting. God, the immigrant song in Thor Ragnarok, like goosebumps.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right away. It's like, that gets you hyped like as soon as you start to hear it.
Alan Gamer Franco, I like cheese bread.
As do I.
Woo!
Does anybody not? I guess if you're in keto or something.
You're
Philistines.
lactose
I
intolerant.
think.
Or if you're lactose intolerant.
Cheese bread
Yeah.
he's talking about. If he's from Argentina, I'm familiar with the cheese bread. It's delicious.
All right.
Yeah, it's. I mean, for something that should be a high energy, high impact, high velocity kind of movie, Hallelujah is a beautiful. It's a beautiful elegy. It's not an upbeat action movie song.
I can even see the misapplication where they used it in Watchmen. I mean, if you're putting it in an intimate moment between characters that are both deeply, deeply emotionally troubled, and essentially can only be intimate in surrounding violence. Yeah, okay, it's still wrong, but it's not nearly as wrong as, hey, this is a superhero movie. All right.
I think that's, and I don't know if it's completely Zack Snyder, because the entire idea is like it's a marketing team, and the marketing team put it together as a trailer, and so at the same time they are stating to the world, this is the tone that we want you to think this movie has. And in reality, we are coming into it with that want and knowing and seeing, like, it's about a bunch of buff people punching each other in the face or punching CGI tennis balls in the face. But really, like, they're looking at it as this big magnum opus and this thing that's like vaguely like.
I keep making cringe faces. I'm sorry.
I know.
Same.
Yeah, because like if they literally put like some nice like heavy metal music, or like they put some like, I don't know, even some pop punk or something, like it would give that energy that we'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, Superman's gonna punch that guy. Okay, yeah, all right.
Here's my problem with Zack Snyder. He is like this amalgamation of a pretentious film auteur combined with a frat boy. It's like he has this artistic vision, as he's shown in like movies like Sucker Punch and in Watchmen, but he can't seem to let go of the more sophomoric aspects of his creations. Again, going to Sucker Punch and Watchmen.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know what? I want somebody to go and take that trailer and just all you got to do is change the music to Riders on the Storm.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
There's a thought.
Someone do that.
I might do that.
Low enough that it would work for a really like over the top artsy. That works. Okay.
All right.
So it does beg the question, though: is it still better than Hans Zimmer? Because that entire trailer could have just been.
Well, if you notice how low the bass notes are in that, in the Cohen version.
Register.
The brown. Anyway, moving on to our last topic, boy, this is sad news. That's not a sad photo. That's an awesome photo. That was the last time I was at Katsucon. which is 2018. Greg's last time was 2019, which was the last time there was one. And it's the last time there will be one until 2022.
Hopefully.
This last week, we saw the announcement of the cancellation, complete cancellation, not rescheduling, of Katsucon 2021, the rescheduling of Emerald City Comic Con and C2E2, Seattle and Chicago, respectively, both Repop properties, to the very tail end of 2021, from cons that are usually in March and May or June. They're both going to be in December this year, theoretically. And whether or not that actually even happens is anybody's guess at this point. We're not going to see a con. We're not going to be at a con. Folks, I'm not going to, sit there in my comfy seat taking pictures while you come up and say hi at any con until, at the very least, the third quarter of 2021. And that's, July on. You look at Fan Expo. Fan Expo, without any announcements, moved almost every single one of their conventions to the 6 weeks that runs from the beginning of August to the middle of September. Every single Fan Expo in North America, with the exception of MegaCon right now, and I say right now because MegaCon is supposed to be in March. It ain't going to happen in March.
Upside, Hall Mat will be just fine.
Who what?
Holiday Matsuri?
Hall Mat. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe. So Holiday Matsuri is obviously scheduled around the holidays, so one of the very last cons in December. Will we have enough vaccine in the general population, enough lifting of restrictions, enough willingness of people to get back into big crowds of thousands upon thousands of people to have a con the size of C2E2 in a facility the size of the McCormick Center in December, or Hall Mat in December, or ECCC, Emerald City Comic Con. I don't know. I would say right now, even December is a 50-50 shot.
I mean, ultimately, and I am not a medical person. I'm not but part of it is we need to bring the numbers down as well as having the vaccine. It's not just vaccine like magic.
Yep.
It's the numbers need to go down and the numbers keep going up. And so when we have a vaccine, maybe people will take it a lot more seriously. But it's just these are both things that need to happen, and the trajectory is looking like when we do get the vaccine that is 100% for public consumption. As long as if the numbers just keep going up, it's still going to be an uphill climb. So.
Yep.
Sorry, not to get depressing, but yeah.
No, it's absolutely realistic. We could start again talking politics when things hopefully change. In January, and if national mask mandate came down rather than just leaving it up to various mayors and whatnot, maybe that would start to take the curve back down or flatten the curve. But it's people just think that the vaccine's going to come out, it's going to be magical, but it has to work, and you have to get a certain number of people to take it and it to work for them, and then all the stuff.
Oh God, all the anti-vaxxers are going to come out of the woodwork.
Can't be any dumber than the anti-maskers. So, Luminous, welcome to the show. I see Fan Expo Boston is getting ready to sell tickets for their August 2021 con. Yeah, they and all of the other Fan Expos are committed to this idea that they're going to be holding them, in the latter half of the third quarter of this year. I hope so. God, I want to go to a con.
It'd be fascinating to see how the contracts for those have changed. I mean, we talked a lot about this, starting back, even right the week before PAX East, which was I had a cold, so I didn't go, but it was the last con most of the Boston Nerd Caliber folks went to.
Yep.
At that point, we were already wondering, how is this going to work? And then all the cons started canceling, and it was, a lot of them, you've got such huge deposits down, and they couldn't cancel without losing boatloads of money. I'd be very surprised if they hadn't all kind of worked in a lot of COVID related. If this happens, then we can do this type language. It just, inside baseball type stuff. But, it's, God, I mean, we're thinking about it. We talked about this probably going back to last June, July. Obviously it's too soon to know whether Dragon Con will do anything, but anybody who's been there, can you imagine being on any one of those elevators, even this coming August? I don't think I'm really confident that that's a safe thing to do.
New York Comic Con in October. 11 months from now, roughly. Do we want? Does everybody want to be elbow to elbow in the Javits Center in New York City?
Or if you're a person who takes the subway in your costume and all that. And I know from very good friends that live in New York. And Ashley, you live in New York.
Yep.
So there are a lot of people who have to take the subway, and they are, of course, masking up and being or in face shields and the whole nine. But of course, there are people that don't. So, I think in New York in general, you're exposing yourself to germs on the regular.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just part of existence out here, but really, now there is rules in place that you have to have a mask if you're going to be on the subway. It has to stay on. It has to go over the full face. Like everywhere, it's only as successful as people who are patrolling and making sure that people are actually looking at that are following the rules. But at the same time, people, for the most part, in my experience, taking subways have been really good about it, have been really good about trying to stay distant. There's only so much you can do if you're on a subway, and we all need to get somewhere, so you try not to get in everyone's spaces, but they also do a really good job cleaning it. That is all to say they are taking every precaution, but at the exact same time, I would not want to do New York Comic Con this year, even if we get the vaccine. We're doing in New York right now. Broadway has been closed. It's closed until they've announced until June or August. I forget exactly when, but somewhere in that span.
Somewhere on there.
But even then, I have a show that we had to cancel that we've postponed from all the way back in March, and I don't want to be one of the first shows to come back. I don't want to do that. I would want to wait even longer than we're able to.
Yep.
So it's a whole thing. Yeah.
I was gonna say, even this my area of New England, between Lowell and Boston, you're seeing a lot of that. I've noticed more people are resistant to it, especially in New Hampshire, where
live free or die, I guess.
Live free and die, I believe is the word.
Live free and die. I remember standing in line at Walmart and some douche canoe was just like, I don't want to wear a mask. Live free or die. Like,
why don't you just die? Insert that.
Yeah, promise. Promise.
Exactly.
That's on the concept of live free or die. Okay, whatever. We're not going to go down that road and argue that one. But if that's your ethos, have at it. But the problem is that it's my choice to do that impacts every other person around me.
Exactly.
It's not like I'm going to live free or die by going to the deep woods of northern Maine in winter without a coat. Cool. Go for it. No one but maybe a caribou will be affected by that.
Yeah. Go fight a bear with a knife. Sure.
There you go.
Do that.
Live free or die, man.
Send the video.
Yeah.
That's all we ask.
Go wrestle with a bear in a meat suit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I had I'd signed up for a pretty high-end photography workshop that I've been wanting to do forever. That was last March, and they literally there was so little info, and in New York City, so little info at the time that it was like 11 minutes before I had to be on the train.
I remember that.
They said, "Yeah, we got to cancel. We can't." And I still don't know when that's going to get rescheduled because it's just not, just not safe to be, even something as small as, 10 models, 8 or 10 photographers, and a couple of instructors in a big studio space. That's not safe. Forget about the, however many thousands of people are in. I was going to say pick any big con, but so anybody that's not around New England wouldn't be familiar with this, but in Manchester, New Hampshire, there's been a convention for many years called Granite State Comic-Con. And it's this wonderful local, friends and family kind of convention. Everyone knows everyone. It's a ton of fun. But it's, Rodney, what would you guess? 2,000 people maybe?
No, I think their numbers at their peak, they were pushing 7.
Okay. But, it's in a hotel, so there's lots of walking around outside, and there's great photo stuff in the, there's a huge courtyard. So it doesn't generally feel as crowded as things like New York or Dragon Con, etc. But I think even that, I don't know how eager I am to do, that kind of crowd.
Yeah. Just another story about last March. Our guy going out to Emerald City Comic Con has friends out in Seattle, left early, 1 week early to go visit his friends. And while he was on the plane, Emerald City canceled that year. So they canceled 1 week before their con back in March. Dave landed, send me a message. Hey, did you see this? I'm like, oh, I hope you're not on your way. Oh, I landed.
Yeah. I mean, that was just lousy timing. There's nothing you can do about it. And in March, you couldn't really fault them for not canceling sooner. It's not like, I'll just pick Dragon Con as an example. It's not like, they waited months and months and months and then canceled a week before in August, knowing everything that they knew was coming down the road. It's Katsu was the last con I was at. It was, I think I mentioned this last week. So that was last February. That was the last crowd I've been in, other than, a small group of people at work that I was back in for a little while. I can't imagine when that's going to change.
So, folks, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. Let us know in the comments when you think you're going to have a chance to get to a con, when you think you want to go to a con, which may be different, whether you're in the chat now or the people who watch this afterwards. I would love to see what your thoughts are on this. So, once again, for our team here at Nerd Caliber, I'm Rodney Brown, the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber. We're going to go around counterclockwise this time. Greg, say goodnight and let people know where to find stuff.
Cool. Good night, everybody. Thanks for sticking around this evening. Hopefully, at some point in the future, we'll have better convention news. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, jump on, take a look for Red Raven Studios for some interesting photography projects.
Cool. Ashley?
All right. Good night, everybody. If you want to find more about me, AshleyLaurenRogers.com. If you want to learn more about my podcast, Is It Transphobic?, where me and a group of other trans and non-binary folk sit down, discuss a piece of media, and ask whether it's transphobic and whether it's enjoyable, because sometimes it can be both. We also have a series of interviews. I just posted publicly my interview with Leanna Renee Heber, a number of folks who are cis and amazing that I'm just bringing in to be like, hey, let's talk about stuff. Talk to me about these things. And then finally, go to scowlfight.com, SCOWL fight.com. If you want to check out any of my stage combat / it's not pro wrestling.
You did that.
Oh, yeah. We're doing a monthly web series now. So just because we all have to do this remotely, so what does a remote fight look like? Check out on scowlfight.com.
Oh, God, I forgot all about that. I love that. And go.
I am Gogo Incognito. You can find me on the internet by going into Google or your favorite search platform and typing in Gogo Incognito, and I'll come up just about everywhere except Tumblr because someone took my name there. I was like, what?
Oh dear.
So you can find me everywhere. I'm mostly active right now on Instagram. I do request, though, that if you're going to come to my Instagram, please be age 18 or over.
Smart call.
My turn.
And Mr. Byron.
All right, yeah. Byron D0 on multiple facets of the internet. YouTube, Instagram. I have a second Instagram called The Artist Known as Byron D0, where I post all of my creative-ish podcasts, Weave Trash Can, working on a bunch of other stuff in the future, webcomic, all that good stuff. Have a good night, guys.
Awesome. Good night, folks. Stay safe. Wear that mask. Wash them hands. Keep socially distant. Stay indoors. Stay away from people if you can. Please, let's get this under control so we can go to cons again.
Right.
Good night, everybody in the chat.